Welcome, everyone, to Live from Beyond, where we bring you the darkest of jungles. Today on Live from Beyond, we're playing Eternal Lies, a Trail of Cthulhu campaign, and our brave explorers are going to the Yucatan, where they hope to uncover secrets of a set of Mayan ruins deep in the heart of the jungle. So, I'm Kevin, and I'll be the GM. Players, why don't you go down the line and tell us who you are and who you're playing.
Hello, everyone. My name's Alex, and I'm going to be playing Damon Smoke, an investigator who's down his luck and out of his element.
All right. My name is Kim. I am playing Gus, the pilot, who has some kind of strange family tie to this whole thing.
Hello, I'm Nick, and I'm playing the lady of the stage, Kitty Kennedy, who has not much recollection of what's going on.
I'm Andrew. I'm playing Harvey Cohen, the disgraced government biochemical contractor who believes the compounds he's finding on this trip could put himself and his name back on the map.
And I'm Aaron, and I'm playing Fritz Drechner, the antiquarian from Berlin by way of Los Angeles, and he's trying to save the world from this horrible conspiracy of cults.
All right, guys. So I know it's been a little while since we played the last one. I know a bunch of you might be a little bit out of the loop. I shared what are the relevant documents from last time on Drive, and I have a little blurb to maybe get you started back on the track here. So, clues discovered in Mexico City have revealed that a band of cultists were dispatched into the Yucatan jungle to seek out ancient ruins and discover the true identity of the thing with 1,000 mouths, also known as the Liar from Beyond. The cult's expedition has not yet returned. The investigators, being brave souls, have ventured off on the trail of the cult's expedition in hopes of learning whatever the cult stands to uncover in the Yucatan, or to stop the cult expedition from uncovering anything at all. And by the way, this is the first time I noticed that a particular entity in this campaign is called the Liar from Beyond, which is quite similar to something else. But I think it's all right. Anyways, we'll start the first scene. At the beginning, the camera is just a purple mass of twisted and gnarled something, purple, putrescence. Slowly zooms out, and it reveals that this is a wound of some kind, a nasty wound, garish and purple, and still fresh. Not fresh, but only maybe a month old. It continues to zoom out to see Kitty Kennedy standing with the bedsheet covering herself, fingering the bullet hole, or former bullet hole in her shoulder. Behind her in the room is it's nighttime. You can see the not body but form of her lover Santiago in the bed sheets as Kitty inspects the ravages of the expedition, or of the investigation on her.
Just in case our audience, for example, didn't remember, where did Kitty get this bullet hole?
You were shot at the end of LA.
In the club, I think.
Who pushed Kitty into that?
Yeah,
Who
right.
pushed Kitty into the fire?
It was running away from the room of mouse under the house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh, and Mr. Sterling, pushed me in front of a mad shooter, I think.
Yeah.
Pushed you out of the way of some tongues into
a bullet.
Guns.
Right, into a bullet.
It was tongues versus bullets. It was...
I wonder he's not here. All right, Kitty, she stands there in the shadows, looking pensive, and remembering, and if we were watching TV, the camera would shimmer a little, and they'd fade back to the exact scene you guys just described for everybody to understand. Then we'd shimmer back in, and Kitty would still be looking pensive, and she turned to gaze at her lover in the bed, Santiago. and like drifts over and stands above him, watching him sleep.
Okay.
Is there anything? Are there any like? Where are we actually?
You guys are still in Mexico City.
Still,
But
don't we have like? So you said it's weeks ago?
Yeah.
a
So the
month ago?
expedition left weeks ago. You're sure? Probably about 2 weeks ago.
But are we like back in our hotel?
Yeah. You guys are in your hotel. I assume you're about to leave, but
Right. Okay.
Weren't we staying with some lady or something?
you were.
It's our house now.
Confused. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
Fed her to the liar.
I imagine there isn't really any time to lose if we're already several weeks behind.
Are you bringing your lover with you, or are you?
It's only been about a day since you guys returned from the ruins where you encountered Jonathan Brooks and his mistress.
So Kitty Kennedy was. I'm pretty sure she was like driven insane, right?
Yeah, she was not doing too well.
So
I
this
seem
is like
to remember stabbing somebody or trying.
This is
to
like
anyways.
insane sex, Kitty. This isn't like love.
But it was. I just don't remember. I don't remember exactly how insane Kitty was at the end. But so I'm just trying to get a sense. So we're like in this house, and what Santiago and I have a private room, and everybody else. is out
You guys all have rooms.
All right. Well, Kitty Kitty sits on the end of the bed and just trying to like calm down. She takes her hands off the wound, but looks incredibly perturbed and
She's gonna kill
unable
this
to
guy.
like calm down. She eventually rises and quietly slips out of the room and tries to go to like the main drawing room and see if there's anything to drink.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. As you walk out, you see the figure of Damon Smoke. No. Nope.
Just leaving, just stepping out. The door slams behind.
As you open the door, you see Damon Smoke. He's sitting there.
I have backup, just in
You see
case.
that there's a small table next to him with a glass sitting there. It's empty. It's like a Scotch glass or something, and he's just sort of fingering a little vial filled with yellow liquid, which is like on a chain
come
around
on.
his neck.
Really?
No, it's on a chain around his neck. He's not
Yeah,
like drinking
but-
it or anything. He's just kind of looking at it.
Just taking a little sniff.
Kitty's like, I guess there was something to drink. No, she goes up and she says very quietly, she says, "Good evening, Mr. Smoke. Any more of that drink?"
Damon Smoke eyes you for like 10 seconds, and he says, "Are you sure you're in a condition to drink?" He's got a little crazy yesterday.
And I say, well, while I don't particularly even appreciate your concern, Mr. Smoke, I'd say that yesterday calls for nothing but drink. So, if you don't mind, if there's any more of that liquor around, I'd be much obliged.
Damon like reaches under the table, and like opens up some drawer, and like takes out like a cup and like a bottle of whatever's standing there, let's say whiskey, and he ends up filling up his glass halfway and like putting about the same amount into like Kitty's glass, and then like slides it towards her. He's like, I don't mind you drinking, but maybe we could have I don't know, maybe we could have the doc look you over. Either one of the docs, Doc MD.
Right? Yeah, I was wondering which doc.
That's
Excuse me.
Harvey, right? That's Harvey.
Yes, that's the actual.
So to say we have a
That's
doctor.
that's the MD.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
we have a
closest
doctor.
thing to an MD.
There you go.
Right. Okay. So Kitty says, Kitty looks at you and then quickly downs the entire drink, and says, she says, "Well, Mr. Smoke, my friend Santiago has given me a thorough examination, but I suppose Dr. Cohen could check on me tomorrow. For now, I'd just really like to sleep, and I'm finding it a mite bit tough. Do you know, is anyone else in the house up?
I think Gus was. I saw him rocking back and forth in his room.
All right, well,
yeah,
just
Gus went,
as
like, really
just
insane,
as
didn't he?
just as you say that, Gus comes like trambling through the door to, I don't know, wherever your room is, and like tosses his suitcase on like the sofa, and like turns around and says, what are you guys doing? We're supposed to be packing. We have to go.
Gus.
Kitty
Gus.
says, packing. I am supposed to be sleeping, Mr. Allen, but unfortunately, I'm finding it tough to do so. Please don't stress me any further.
So as Gus puts his suitcase down, like a paper or what's either paper or a photograph kind of like flips out and lands on the floor, and you can see it's a picture of someone who looks just like Gus, sort of standing arm in arm with who you know to be Jonathan Brooks.
More porn?
Arm in arm, not. Damon.
Gus kind of like picks it up, like unsure of what he's looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry. How insane did Gus go? Didn't
Pretty
he?
insane.
Wasn't he like definitely the most insane of us?
I'm feeling sure
he
I
was the most
stabbed
insane-
Harvey.
Kitty, I think, was the one that was like.
Gus had a moment.
I slipped.
We were like, did he have a crazy moment on the edge of that pit where he tried to like jump in or throw one of us in or something like
Yeah,
that?
But that was like 2 days ago.
You
though.
tried to stab Harvey.
Just a little
No,
bit
that was just last night, Damon.
But
So
who didn't try to
just
stab
a little bit of
Harvey?
Hasn't at some
roughhousing.
point in this
You know how
adventure.
boys get.
Harvey's
They
been
get all
on
that
everyone's
juice in 'em.
bad side ever since he burned that book.
I say,
I'll guess
well, Kitty like sees the photo and she says, was that man you're supposed to be related to, Mr. Echevarria?
Don't. I'm not.
All right.
Look, and like Gus like kind of like tucks it back into the suitcase quickly.
You fit in.
Kenny, do we have a?
Shots fired.
Doppelgusser.
Yeah, stream is crazy.
I don't know. I
Camera
think
just like flipped on Roll20 and then.
I've been having this weird problem where my internet like flickers out like for a split second,
Okay.
and I think that's probably what just happened.
So do you know what we missed? Or did you
I think
see the
right
photo?
after I said I tucked the picture back into my suitcase, it cut out.
Oh,
Okay. So go.
So I say listen. We're leaving in 8 hours. I'm sure both you and Miss Kennedy could use some shut eye, if you can. If not, and I like pull out this like little like paper envelope. If not, I say Harvey gave me this. Just take it, and you'll get a good night's sleep.
and then Kitty asks you if that's Echevarria in the picture. That's,
I think I answered that though.
Yeah.
oh, okay. I thought that was after you put the picture back away.
No, so the Gus like he like just stares at you blankly for a second, and
Sorry to interrupt. But yeah.
stares at you too like for a second, and then like grabs his suitcase and says like, "Sleep? Who can sleep at a time like this?"
Well, not me, Mr. Allen. That's for sure.
Well, he like storms back out.
I look
Kitty.
at Kitty and I say, "Do you want to try to give these to him?"
I say, frankly, Mr. Smoke, I don't care to consult with Mr. Allen right now. He certainly almost went off the deep end literally yesterday, and I'm not about to be alone with him. As a matter of fact, if you'll pour me one more drink, I'm not about to be alone with you either. I'd prefer to go back to the company of my friend, Senor Alcatruz.
So Damon looks at the empty bottle that he just just emptied into both their
Damn it.
cups, and he slides the rest of his cup to Kitty.
All right, Kitty looks grateful, downs the rest of that, and twirls around to go back to her room.
As she walks out, David pulls out another bottle from under the.
Nicely played, bastard.
It's not for you. It's for Gus. And he pours a little bit, and takes the little pouch that he had with him, and he goes to try to convince Gus to take a few pills and chase it with some whiskey.
All right. Well, on the way to his room, you see light coming from another room in the house. As you pass by, there is you can see Fritz sitting at a desk with a pile of books around him. What's he currently reading, Fritz?
Oh yeah, we have a whole bunch of books. Fritz,
Got a lot
we need
of
you to
books.
start reading a lot more.
I like the one that had the word "the maw" in it.
The Rift of the Maw.
So,
Yeah.
That's a good one.
right now, Fritz is poring over some of the books from Echevaria's library that we retrieved when we were in LA. He's looking at The Broken Ouroboros of Ata.
Okay. Very nice.
Just because no one else can pronounce it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's not as well known as the Cancer of the Congo.
Sorry, so
no.
who passed by his room, Damon or Kitty?
Damon, yes.
Oh.
Alright, so Damon pauses for a second, looks at Gus's room, and he leans in the doorway of Fritz's room, and he knocks on the molding on the side of the door.
Yes, Mr. Smoke, how may I help you?
I hold up a glass. I say, you need something to help you sleep? It's 3 a.m.
Dude,
No.
he's reading the Ouroboros of something. That's sleep-inducing enough.
I am quite certain that I will sleep on the plane, and for now, while I have light and the circumstances are conducive, I'm going to try to read through some of the material that we've been slowly acquiring. But I appreciate the thought.
So you notice that as Damon is standing there talking to you, his hand is around the little vial that's on his necklace. He's not sure. You're not sure if he knows that he's doing it because he's keeping a normal conversation with you. But at the same time, you notice that he's playing with the vial with his left hand and holding the glass and sipping from the other one. He's and so he asks you. He says, "From your opinion," I say, "what do you make of Alan?" Gus Allen.
Well, all of us had our difficulties when we were in that basement. Certainly, Mr. Allen seemed to struggle more than most, and he had his difficulties when we were in Echevaria's house as well. But he is, to be fair to him, more directly connected to this than any of the rest of us, so he has more reason to be disturbed. I think that some latitude needs to be offered to him, and of course to any of us who find ourselves untowardly affected by what we are currently going through. Fritz takes off his glasses and folds them and puts the book aside to turn more fully to Damon. How have you been doing since our several encounters with the production of nectar?
I say that stuff is vile.
And yet you keep it close to your heart.
In a vial.
Huh. Damon looks down at his own hand that's holding it. He says, he looks down and he says, somebody has to keep some on them, right? Because
One would think that.
we're gonna need it at some point. If not for the
Do we
not
really?
for its recreational purposes, but at some point we're gonna have to let the world know what's going on, right? And this will be one of the only ways to prove it.
Well, I don't deny the utility of the substance. Having you carry it about does seem like a strange choice.
Test of willpower.
Sure. That's one way of looking at it.
And as he says that, he like downs the rest of his glass.
Oh, okay, the glass.
Not of the vial, no. It's a test of willpower. Fuck it, I don't have it. Don't do so good on tests.
Well, Mr. Smoke, I'm sure that we all have faith in your willpower, but know that if you ever need to talk, my door is open.
It really is.
I say, before you get back to your reading, a few hours ago, Harvey came out for a drink and was looking for you, but you were in your rooms.
Yes, some of our books were stored in the basement, so I had to go look through them. I'll go see whether I can find Harvey and see what he needs. Thank you for letting me know.
And Damon walks off to Gus Allen's room.
Fritz slowly gets up out of the chair to make his way over to Harvey's room.
Okay.
He forgot to get dressed.
Still naked, yes.
Fritz never wears any clothing. It's been unclear this entire time, but
Yeah.
So,
We forgot to mention that, especially when he was climbing the fire escape.
So as Fritz
Put the
approaches
axe
Harvey's
chapter.
bedroom, you can see that the light is on inside, and you begin to hear like several like squeaking and scratching noises coming from within.
Fritz knocks at the door,
Yes, come in.
opens the door, and heads into the room.
You see Harvey wearing basically pajamas. He's wearing long, baggy, bed pants and a button-down night shirt. And he's scribbling in a notebook. And on his desk are 5 different cages with 2 rats in each cage. And you can see a half-empty vial of the what are we calling that fluid? The nectar.
Nectar.
A half-empty vial of the nectar, and he's scribbling down notes as he passes by each cage.
Herr Dr. Cohen, I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
No. Actually, I was wanted to know if you had taken inventory on our supplies of nectar.
Well, we've got 1 vial that's around Mr. Smoke's neck, but aside from that, no, I'm afraid that I haven't kept close track of it since we retrieved that rather large suitcase.
Well, Mr. Smoke is a trustworthy person, but he is an addict, so best watch him.
I'm sure that we will all have to work together in that particular pursuit.
Do you know when we are leaving?
I believe that I heard Mr. Smoke say that our flight was at, 11 in the morning? So we have some time yet.
Time. Not enough time. Very well. I'll see you in the morning.
Very well. Good to talk to you.
And you. Have a good night.
You too. Fritz heads back to his room.
Okay. Just before closing your door, you hear snoring coming from across the hall. It's Frank Kearns' room, so he's clearly asleep.
Very good. I would be worried otherwise.
Yeah,
Man is never not asleep.
All right. Very good. So you're going to go to sleep.
Is Janet Winston Rogers still here? Didn't she come to
She is in
LA?
Mexico City, yes.
She came to Mexico City, right? Yeah. But she's not with us.
She's in the house, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're all staying in the same place.
I believe she was shot during our escape from
And
wherever
the
it was in
airplane,
the
right?
United States. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what you guys want to do here in Mexico City before you depart. Let me know.
Taco truck.
Otherwise, we can skip. Move ahead quickly.
I assume that we're going to provision ourselves for this appropriately, given that we're going to be in a rather different situation than we have been thus far.
300
Well-
machetes.
Well, so you guys, the only airport near the Yucatan is, or in the Yucatan. Well, maybe not the only airport in the Yucatan. Anyways, the place you're going is Merida. Merida is a relatively nice city. It's not terribly large, but it is quite wealthy. As an airport, and it would have places to provision, and you assume guides and things like that.
All right, then.
Are Frank and Janet coming with us? Is that the plan?
Well, Frank can fly the plane. He doesn't have to. Janet, you haven't asked her yet.
We
Before we
probably
go, I
won't,
wanted to ask her.
we probably
We
won't
should-
be in Merida for very long. It might be best just to travel light and leave them here.
Not bring the bags.
Gus Allen could fly the plane, assuming he's
Oh,
not
not the bags. No, I'm talking about Frank and.
I think he was too.
Wait, what about
What's that?
Kitty's piece? Kitty's boob.
Up to. Well,
That I suppose we still have to
What
ask
about
Miss Kennedy.
Wait, what about
What's
her? What about Kitty?
Your
It's one of those
your
awkward
friend.
mornings where you still
Your
there
side
and you're
piece.
like, not really
Oh.
sure.
Mr. Alcatruz?
Sure. Whatever his name is.
I mean, like, just completely out of character. I'm not sure how much I want, like, some guy that we're not really controlling, like, running around all the time. Like us,
Well,
like,
then,
us having to
get
remember
rid of
to
him,
be
Kitty.
Like, what? Just like
Kitty
us
likes her
having to remember
men
to be
very
like,
controlled.
I just
That's
imagine
tight
we'll
leash.
constantly be asking Kevin like, "Oh, is like Alcatraz doing something?" And he'll be
No,
like,
we're all
"Oh,
in
yeah, he's
agreement
like
with you.
standing there."
up to
We're
you,
all-
man.
Hold on. I don't remember where we met this guy.
You know,
We met him in the club.
some expendable red shirt might come in handy.
In the club.
You just gotta run faster than him.
Yeah, Gus Allen's like a super red shirt name.
Yeah, just like break one of his ankles in a compromising situation and then bring him on.
Just hobble him. Just get a good hobble.
Well, so wait, we're going to the city, but then we're like venturing out into the jungle. Is that the
There's
idea?
no way he's just gonna come with us to like a jungle.
Well, that's why I'm
You'll
asking
be like,
exactly what
you'll
the
be
plan
like,
is.
please come with me. And he'll be like, what the fuck?
Well, so by the way, so
I'm asking
at
what
least one of you should maybe refresh yourselves on some of those documents to find out exactly what you want to do, because there are a few clues in them. But yeah, I will tell you that the course of action that I think is basically obvious is going to Merida, and from there, trying to find a way into the jungle to a particular site, which you may or may not be able to discern.
All right, all in favor of bringing Alcatraz. All opposed. All right, he comes. Or rather, Kitty
There we go.
Kennedy asks him sweetly, like, "Darling, we're gonna get on a plane, and I'm not sure I want to make the trip without you."
Yeah. So as you come into the room, he's sitting there reading a book of philosophy.
All right, fuck this guy.
Why you drag along some nerd?
We have like 4 nerds in this party of 5.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, he's
Um,
reading a book of philosophy.
He
And I
looks
come
up.
in
He
like
looks
half
up, and he sort of lowers his glasses and he says,
He's got glasses now?
"Yeah. Well, he had reading glasses.
All right, wow. I'm doing
Kitty
like an
Kennedy's
80-year-old.
The alcohol's worn off, and
It's like, yeah, seriously.
The morning
And the
after,
regret
things
has
are
kicked in.
awkward.
This guy's like older than Fritz. All right,
Hey, I'm
hold
not
on.
that old.
Didn't you say you were like 70?
Yeah, I mean, give or take.
All right, go on, Kevin.
yeah. And he says, and he just smiles. He says, Kitty, how are you, my love?"
So hot.
So hot.
Kitty's like, "Oh, what you reading there, darling?"
He says,
And he like starts to answer, and Kitty just like takes the book and throws it away anyway, interrupts him,
"Okay."
and like, and
Jesus
just like
Christ.
throws herself into his arms.
She says, "There. I know you've had quite a few days, but don't worry, it's all over now."
It's all around. I say,
It's
Oh,
only just
Santiago.
begun.
"Oh, Santiago, I'm afraid it's only just beginning. We have to leave for Merida in the morning, and you absolutely
He
must
says,
come
"Leave
with
for
us.
Merida. What nonsense is this? You'll stay
I
here
said,
in Mexico with me."
We're
Mexico
getting
City."
on a plane, you sweet, sweet fool. Come with me."
Touching.
He says,
Very touching.
"Why are you
And
going
Kitty
to?"
slaps Richard Sterling in the face as hard as she can.
He says, "Merida. What's in Merida? I don't understand."
I don't quite understand it myself either, but if we want the world not to end, if we want to make sure that Smoke character doesn't just go on drugs and go off half cocked again, we're gonna have to go with them.
Pretty sure he was full cocked.
Full concern. He says the world ending. No, that's crazy talk.
I say you're the one reading the philosophy books, my dear.
He picks the book back up. It says like a Trotsky in the front. He's like, but perhaps the world needs to end so something new can start. Kitty?
I say, but Santiago, if the world ends, you and I won't be together anymore.
Kill him.
He says, not end like that, Kitty. We need a revolution.
He's a communist.
Goddamn
Guys.
communist.
Guys, what the fuck? All right, Kitty says.
You're asking us? You're the one sleeping with a goddamn communist.
Yeah, Kitty, what the
I mean,
fuck?
It's 1934. There's nothing wrong with that yet. Depends on who you ask, Fritz.
He says, Kitty, why don't you just forget all this nonsense? Stay here with me. We can change this place. We can make it better.
Make some babies.
You want to stay in Mexico City? Kitty, like, actually can't say that with a straight face, especially because she's a little bit intoxicated.
He looks concerned. He says, it's beautiful here, Kitty, and Mexico City needs stars like you. It needs someone to festoon the stage. Festoon's a bad word.
say,
But anyways,
But Santiago, you're talking about tearing it all down. If you want revolution, this city won't be beautiful much longer, and it's not the kind of stage I want to be on. I think I just need to see this journey through to the end, and I can return and use all the passion and insight that I've learned to star on Broadway.
he looks concerned. He says, well, I suppose if you must, but I thought maybe we could be together, Kitty.
But we can, Santiago, we can. All you must do is get on one more plane with me.
He says, how long were you planning on being in Merida?
Oh, in Merida itself, definitely not long at all. Really, really briefly in Merida.
Kidnapper.
Like Shanghai in this guy. He says,
So yeah, why don't you just
yeah,
knock him
so-
out and he'll find himself on a plane all of a sudden halfway to Marina.
There's no pants on.
so just so everybody remembers, in Trail of Cthulhu, you spend points when you want things.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, it's
I
fine.
don't even
It's fine.
know
Get
like
back
where
into
my
it.
fucking. Oh god, I have a character.
You're supposed to be
sheet
some
there.
kind of charmer.
Yeah, I mean I really am. I just totally wasn't even thinking about it. I
Kevin,
apologize. All right, so
100% totally forgot that you could like spend points like that.
Yeah, I know.
despite the
mention
fact that
before, but I forgot.
that we've been heavily playing other Gumshoe games, we also forgot that. All right, so have we regained anything?
Yeah, you guys should have refilled and gotten, 4 points. If you want to spend 2, you can get an investigative ability. But anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never upped any of my points. I never
That's okay.
think about that. But so our sanity never refreshes. Our health can.
Health refreshed, yeah.
Sanity doesn't. And what about stability? Oh, you have to use sources of stability. Or
Yeah,
whatever
so
to-
by the way, Santiago is basically a source of stability for you, so you can,
Okay.
refresh your... I assume
Okay, so
everybody probably has contacted their...
I just like roll 1d6, right? Is that what it is?
No, you guys can refill your stability because this is a new chapter.
Guys, just side note, that's good because I was at like almost double of my stability, but in the negative.
I mean,
It
that
was
should
bad.
crush some of your pillars, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe we should kill Santiago right here.
Hey, you shut the fuck up, David.
That's probably.
Oh
what
yeah,
this is
by the way,
leading up
everybody else, Santiago's not real.
to.
Just hear Kitty like talking to herself in her room.
Do we want to take Santiago with us? And we're like, yeah.
Listen,
Sure thing,
if
Kitty.
Sterling's not here, I need somebody else to convince to go. Anyway, yeah. So, Kitty says, my dear, we won't be in Merida long, and then we can be together. And she uses a point of reassurance as she does so.
All right. He kind of he looks down and then he smiles and he says, "Oh, Kitty, you know I'd go anywhere with you. Let me pack my bag." As soon as I finish this chapter,
Kitty's
he
like,
picks back up the book.
Kitty's
Need
like,
to know.
darling, could you pack my bag for me too? I don't feel very well. And she like lies down.
He says, of course, my sweet."
All right, guys, we have We have an NPC valet. So if you guys like, you guys need like any errands run or anything, just message me.
All right. Is there anything anybody else want to do in Mexico City?
I mean, I want to know if Janet's going to come. I want to ask her.
So, well, since we just spent so long on Santiago, Janet does not want to come.
Okay, that's fine. That's what I thought.
All
right, we kill her.
I will say, however, that what you do know is that Merida is a smaller city than Mexico City. So it is possible that libraries and museums might be more plentiful here, if that's a thing, or academic.
Fritz, Harvey, do we have any more like definitive stuff we need to figure out?
Yeah. All right. Harvey would probably head to the library and try and find any documentation on Chichen Itzcuintla.
Right. Okay. So, you want to spend a point of library use?
I have. Is that a library use? Oh, I don't have that.
There's a variety of skills that can be used in such a situation. Yeah, there's a library, and there you find that there is a in a library that you have access to in Mexico City. There is something of a rare book section.
Okay. I have anthropology. Would that work?
Yes. Okay. So, anthropology, you don't need to spend. Gives you the following information. You know that Chichen means at the mouth of the well.
Right.
Can also refer to a cenote.
Sorry. Cenote, like the temple. Or
no, it's like a what do you call it when the earth caves in? A cave in?
Sinkhole.
Sinkhole that is filled with water.
Okay.
And you also know that. So it takes you a little while to research the word Zotzal, but you find that it is an obscure word in the Mayan language, meaning outcast or pariah. And yeah, there's an opportunity for a spend here if you'd like.
For anthropology?
Yeah, or anthropology, library use.
Or archaeology.
No archaeology.
Okay, so I'll take anthropology.
Okay, so you note that the word is as it's used, means outcast or pariah, but you don't think that is the original meaning. You think that is an assumed meaning built up over time, and that this word actually referred to a group or culture.
Almost like Ben the Darnell. Over time, it just became like a saying. Like,
sure, right. Okay. So, like when people say Zutzal now, that's what they mean, but it didn't start that way.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it's
nothing about its location.
It's originally a proper noun that's been loaded up with a new definition by years of ill association.
Okay. And I can't find anything about the original group of people.
The
yeah.
So they were likely a group of people. It's got yeah. Okay, you spent a point. They were most likely an ethnic or cultural group outside of Mayan society, which would have worshipped some sort of demons or gods or something outside the popular religion.
Okay. Okay. I'll head back to the hotel. Can I check out the books that I took? Or
yeah.
You said the rare section.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is more opportunities here. I don't want to cut you off if you don't want to.
Now that I'm here, I probably should have brought Fritz with me.
Yeah, Fritz can come. That's fine.
Yeah. All right.
Sure.
So yeah, Fritz. This isn't my area of expertise, but perhaps you could take a look.
Yeah, I'll use some library use to see whether we can, putz around in the section that this comes from and see whether there are other books that seem to relate.
All right, so
cross-reference. Use those card catalogs.
So I will offer there's a spend. So first of all, I don't think all these props have pictures yet, but they should be usable. So first you find this. Let me just make sure everybody. Okay. So you find a book. Oh, did I just the wrong one? I'm sorry, I chose the wrong one. Didn't I?
Uh-oh. I didn't
That,
see
that looks pretty cool, though.
Yeah, close that
Nothing.
one. Wait. Which one do you see?
I see
Survey
both
of Satan.
to the Yucatan and a Survey of Satan. We have both
Okay,
of
well,
them.
close the Survey of Satan for now.
Okay.
That's the only one I see.
We also have Into the Yucatan Peninsula.
Into
or
the
I do,
Yucatan
at least.
Peninsula is what you find.
Okay.
Is what you were able to get through your use of libraries. In the back.
Is that a spend, or is that...
That's not a spend. That's just a. That is just a library use.
Okay.
So there is opportunities for spends in history and occult here as well.
Oh,
Alright.
I can do history if you want to do occult.
I don't think that I have any occult left, unless we had the ability to, like, get points back after the last time.
Thought we did.
Yeah. You guys should get your points back.
Yeah, Kevin said you refilled.
Oh, okay. All, like, including all the other things?
Yeah, investigative ability.
Everything but sanity.
Okay.
Everything
Cool.
but- yeah.
Then, yeah, I can use a point in the occult if you want to cover the history.
Sounds good.
Okay, well then you do get a survey of Satan. So you find a reference to a book elsewhere in Mexico City, and you manage to track it down at a bookshop. The owner doesn't seem to care about it. He says it's been in the back of his shop for years, or since he got the shop, and if you would take it off his hands, it'd be just as well to him.
Perfect. We'll do that then.
A survey of Satan.
Okay.
Can't imagine why this wasn't flying off the shelves.
Okay, and then you want to do history, Harvey?
Yes.
Okay. So you dive in. While Fritz seems to have the rare books in order, and you guys have sort of scoured through them. You decide you want to get some general information on the Yucatan, and after some searching, you spend maybe 5 or 6 hours. You come across
Aren't we leaving like at noon?
a diary. Yeah, maybe you were.
I don't think we're doing that anymore.
Gus, impatient at the airport's like, I guess I'll go by myself.
Called the Diary of Francisco de la Balcazar.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, I
Balcazar.
think I don't know if the paste worked properly. It starts off Peninsula by. Oh, is that the title?
Hmm.
Oh, I may have copied it wrong. Let me check. Anyways. So. Yeah.
All right. I guess the problem, as usual, here is that if we're going to sit and read these descriptions, that's going to take some time away. So I don't know whether there's an opportunity for other folks to do some things during this time that would give me a chance to read.
Absolutely.
Kitty drinks a lot.
All right, there we go. Done.
Oh,
Kitty
wow.
goes to the bar. Scene.
All right. That handout should be correct now. Yeah. Oh, Andrew.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's
Thank
better.
you. Ah, perfect.
Do we want to throw
Okay.
any of it up on stream?
Oh, okay, yeah. I was wondering why I was having so much trouble before.
I think you can open it, Kim.
You should be open it. So one thing that might be interesting is that a Into the Yucatan Peninsula has a map inside it labeled Chichen Itzá, which should be
Yeah.
visible to you.
Yep.
So
Still reading.
So you guys read. Why
Yeah,
don't we?
you guys do it.
If there's anything anybody else wants to do besides leave, otherwise we can just get on the
I
plane.
think Gus is
You're
headed
gonna-
down to the airport to start doing like engine checks on the airplane. He's
Okay.
anxious to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't really think of anything that's super important enough. Just kind of want to get going.
Okay, good. All right. So you guys take off a bit late. Gus, you have to bribe the officials there to let you take off after your appointed time.
So we
But,
we decided not to bring Mr. Kearns.
Oh, it's up to you guys. If you want to bring him, he'll come.
I mean, what's he gonna do? Like sleep? Let's just bring him. Like it's fine.
I mean, he might do that either way.
It's what he does best.
He'll
I
come.
guess I feel like we are distancing ourselves from the net of Janet Winston Rogers. Maybe we don't need.
Well,
Frank
I for one want to see Gus fly while he's a little bit insane.
Yeah.
Look, here's the real question: what do we really know about Frank Kearns? Can he be trusted?
He's Cthulhu.
I mean, trusted enough to be left behind.
I'm just saying, a lot of crazy shit has happened to me since I met Frank
Well,
Kearns.
here. So if Janice Winston Rogers decides that
Close.
she doesn't want to come, then she's gonna need a way out of Mexico City, and
point.
we tell Frank Kearns that we have a very capable pilot, which is Gus.
Not true. Oh, sorry. You mean
No.
Gus, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that that since it's a pretty short flight, we'll be all right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I give the airport officials some spiel about engine troubles, and we take off.
They take some of your cash, and they're satisfied. Okay, yeah. So the flight to Merida is not very long. I'm not sure how long exactly. I think a couple of hours. And before long, you land in Merida, an airport outside Merida. As you pass over Merida, you can see it's not terribly large, but it does look nice. It has some nice buildings in it. And it's just mid-afternoon by the time you arrive. And yeah. Let me know what you guys want to do. The city is like I said, it's nice. It's modern, although remote. There are people going about their business. As you flew over, you could see that there is jungle not very far from the city limits. The city is sort of surrounded. It's laid out in a grid. It looks like it was a planned city. And yeah.
So we have a couple of clues, right, as to how we might track down this expedition with this letter from Sancho Dominguez, right? First of all, he mentions having to go through the lands of Francisco de la Vega, so that should give us some idea of the direction. But it also mentions that he spent a lot of time interviewing guides,
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say,
we might be able to find some guy who didn't make it onto the expedition who might still know a little bit about where they're going.
Yeah, if he asked a bunch of guys around, then that was within the past month, right? I'm sure we have do we have any pictures of him? We do have pictures of him, Gus. You have pictures of him.
Which picture?
From the
The
handout.
picture with
Oh,
the
this-
airplane?
Yeah.
Well, and this guy, Jonathan, he's supposed to be in Merida, right?
No, Jonathan Brooks is the leader of the cult in Mexico City.
Oh, that's right.
Sancho
But it
Dominguez
does say,
is
like,
the-
I will send a runner back to Merida as soon as the site
What
has
you
been
mean he
found.
was
Oh, it's a telegram.
the
yeah.
leader of the cult?
So perhaps we can. Well, so yeah, I guess we have a couple of things we could do. We could go see if we can find some guides who might have been interviewed, or we can go see if we can find out whether this telegram was ever sent, and if so, for
Well,
how long.
what's the date today?
I don't remember what the date is. I can look
Okay.
it up. But it should be. So what's the date on the letter? I can
December
calculate it.
December 16th.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's
34.
probably like
Oh.
mid-December, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's probably just after New Year's.
Oh,
Well, because yeah, the expedition's supposed to have started like 3 weeks ago, right?
Right. Okay.
So I don't know. Let's say, Damon, perhaps we should hit the local watering hole and see if we can't track down some guide who wasn't fortunate enough to be selected for the expedition.
Well, I'm trying to see if I have any skills. I don't have any streetwise, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so I head to the whatever the local tourist I don't know, watering hole, hangout spot, whatever you want to call it, Kev.
Yeah, sure. There's
Bar.
plenty of them. It's a fairly well-to-do town. So what the one thing that impresses you about Merida is it's though it's very remote. It seems that there is a lot of wealth here, and it doesn't seem to have a lot of population. But as you drive through the streets, you see very large villas, very well appointed, nice hotels, and stuff like that.
All right. Well, being an expert in accounting,
Okay.
Damon tries to think back through all his years about reading, and if ever Merida was mentioned as to why it would be so wealthy,
Right.
I want to spend a point if necessary.
No, you don't need to spend a point. So you know that Merida is, or was, the center of trade for. I'm gonna say it wrong. Actually, it's what you use to make rope. It's not hemp. Anyways, I can find it. I'm sure. So there was a period in the early 1900s where it was like the main place to export this particular substance, and many people became very, very wealthy over a short period. Henequen and sea salt, which are used to make
Okay.
rope.
Okay.
Sarah still has, but also had a lot of Henequen farms around it.
Okay. Getting to the nearest tourist local spot, I look for people that are trying to, trying to get tours going, or anybody that's offering any sort of directions, kind of thing. I try to see if there's anybody around that's doing that as their day job.
Okay. So you want to get somebody who's doing tours?
Yep.
Well, maybe we can just ask for a guide. We're looking to go into the jungle. Pretend we're setting up an expedition.
Yeah, that's fine. But I just want to find out if 3 weeks ago, Sancho Dominguez was here, investigating guides, or not investigating, interviewing guides and stuff, right? Then some of those guys will remember him, and we'll see where maybe they'll know where he wanted to go, kind of thing.
Sure. So,
Do we have a picture of Sancho Dominguez?
I thought you had.
I thought we had two, but I can't find it.
I mean,
Isn't he on this one?
Yeah, but which one is he? Assume he's the lady in the front.
He's the dude.
No, Dominguez is the man sitting in the middle.
I assume he's the airplane.
The guy in the front?
Yeah, the guy is sitting Indian style.
All right, so I walk up to the first guide and I try to ask him in English if he speaks English.
Okay, so this guy is just a guy you see standing outside City Hall, offering to be a tour guide for tourists and stuff. And he says yes, sir, I speak English. I can't do a Mexican accent. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Boo.
Apology not accepted.
Fine. I say a couple of my friends and I are looking to go into the jungle to follow another friend of ours who we ended up, unfortunately, we couldn't make it on time and we were left behind. But now we're trying to catch up to him, and I show a picture. I was like, this guy, Sancho?
The airplane.
He says, "You want to go to the jungle? Why? When we have this beautiful city here, let me give you a tour. There's a beautiful historic district."
This fucker.
It's like,
You go on
who
a
do we
6-hour
say,
tour.
hey, amigo, we need to talk to somebody about
Wow.
a expedition.
Yes.
He says,
We need a guide.
"Expedition. Well, I'll take you on an expedition to the bar. How about that?"
I like
Why would you say no?
I take out a I don't know, 5 peso note or whatever
God.
whatever's appropriate. I'm like, look, if you can be helpful, it would be mutually beneficial.
5 pesos? It's enough to wipe his ass with.
I don't know. I have no idea what pesos are
90
worth in
years ago,
1934.
90 years ago, maybe.
I don't know. Okay. He says, "Yeah, well, There's a supply shop downtown where a lot of people stock up before they head out into the jungle. I could take you there.
A lot of people go out into the jungle.
That would be much appreciated.
He
give
says,
him 5 pesos.
Well, every once in a while we get a group of gringos like you through here who want to go out and check some ruins. But
Yeah.
it's not really the season.
Some really ominous music for talking to this guy.
That's fine. It's something you should keep in mind when, you know.
Okay. So?
Well, I guess, does he take us to the supply shop?
No, he says he waits there. He says, I could take you.
I give him the 5 pesos.
Yeah, no, he has those 5 pesos.
I ask him to take me on a 6-hour tour of the historical district.
Oh my god.
No, I don't even think Kitty's there,
Okay.
so it's all right.
Say, what exactly would it take for us to be given the address of the supply shop? Or maybe I should just go find it. It's a small city.
He says, we'll just need some gas money, you know?
I give him
They
another 5 pesos.
like have cars here.
All right. He takes your 5 pesos. He says, all right, let's go. Follow me.
We go.
And all right, so you guys
On the
walk
way.
like 12 blocks.
To the other end of the city.
And he stops outside a store. It's more of a warehouse almost. And he, kind of waves you inside.
Say, gracias.
Okay.
Cause we,
So behind the counter is a man. Oh, I forgot to change it to Marita. Oh, well, here's Marita. I changed it for myself. Anyways.
Oh.
Sorry. All right. So there's a man sitting at a bench. You can see there's like sort of equipment around him. There's rows behind him of crates of what you assume to be like equipment of various kinds, provisions and tents and clothing and all kinds of stuff. And he says, "Hola, señor."
Say, hola, Anglais.
He says, "Yes, yes."
My associate here and I, we're supposed to be finding provisions for an expedition into the jungle. We heard this was the place to come.
He says, "Expedition." He like flips through some papers. He says, "Oh, I don't think so. No, I don't see anything here."
Say, we're a couple of weeks late. We've been called down here to join some associates of ours. Sancho Dominguez. I imagine you must have spoken to him.
Oh, he like flips through some of my papers. He says, yeah. He was here. You were part of his expedition?
He telegrammed for additional resources. Said we should come here to get supplies and directions.
He says, I don't have anything like that in here.
I look around, well, this looks like the place.
He says, okay, yeah. Well, what can I do for you?
We need a guide to take us out to the dig site.
Guide, huh? Okay. That's fine. I can give you some names. There's Pablo Garza. Well, I guess. Hold on for a sec. Where exactly are you headed? I don't remember where Mr. Your associate said he was going.
I turn to Damon. I'm like, what was it was called? What did the telegram say?
I don't have it on there, but isn't it in that link that you gave us, guys? Yes.
Something Zozul.
Oh,
Says,
yeah. Hold on.
Zolzul.
Zutsul.
No. There's some mistake. I don't think you want to go there.
Chichen Zozul?
Mm-hmm. He says,
I said to the guy,
let me see that telegram.
want to show him the telegram.
Well, you don't have a telegram.
Yeah, we don't have
because you
one.
made
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Say, it's unfortunately
Oh,
back
I
at
thought
the.
it was
It's unfortunately back at the hotel, but wait, why would we not want to go there? Is there something wrong with that place?
Oh, it's not very interesting actually, and kind of difficult to get to. There's
Yeah,
some
but we
much
need to
better
catch up.
ruins.
We need to catch up to Sancho. They're going to be waiting for us there.
He says,
And,
well, that's privately owned land, as a matter of fact. You'll need permission from the owner to go there, and I have to tell you there are bandits in that area. It's not very safe.
Bandidos.
Banditos.
Bandidos.
Who owns that land?
Mr. De La Vega.
Yeah, I
we
think I
know this
remember Sancho saying something about that.
Nicely played.
Well, if you don't mind leaving us the name of the guides anyways, we would much appreciate it. We will pass on our gratitude to Mr. Dominguez.
He says, okay. There's Rick Luke, there's Pablo Garza, and Guillermo Castillo. And they all hang out at the bar across the street.
We should have the three of them fight to the death for the right to lead us into the jungle.
Also, guys, by the way, like, at that time, 5 pesos is like $30 today, right? So, like, you tip
so
us
Like a
30 bucks.
perfectly acceptable bribe.
It's like
Play.
all
Yeah,
of
I'm
like
glad
Gus
you looked it
hasn't really like dealt with that much money ever in his life.
No, I meant, like, compared to today's currency, it's 30
Right.
All right, I give this guy like 2 pesos.
All right, he like sort of nods his head. Thanks you.
All right. I guess we exit the shop unless there's something else you wanted to do, Alex.
No.
Yeah.
So what are the rest of you guys doing?
Got a shot of tequila before we leave.
Heading to the bar.
Okay.
I guess maybe we should. I don't know if you want to proceed down this line or you want to go inform the others. I guess we could run back. Is it this
Well,
kind
if
of
they want
small?
to, if they want to do something else, if
Oh,
the
yeah.
three of them want to do something else while we're doing this.
Kitty just like
Fritz
asked
has been
to
reading-
take her to a bar. That's all.
Oh yeah, what have you been reading, Fritz? That's a good point because we can.
Fritz
do
has
some stuff
been
with that.
Fritz has been reading The Survey of Satan and Into the Yucatan Peninsula. He started with Into the Yucatan Peninsula and saw a reference to a survey of Satan in it, and so followed up with that reading.
That's a good omen for traveling into the Yucatan.
The Diary of Francisco de la Belcazar didn't have too much. It just says that he was one of Cortez's lieutenants who was put out in that area. But I believe this was long after the Zaltzo people had built and been exiled by the Mayas. Mayans? Is it Mayans or Aztecs?
Mayans.
Mayans is good. Yeah, both
Well-
Into the Yucatan and Survey of Satan have to do with the religions and customs of the native peoples at the time of the 16th century as, I should say, conquistador exterminations of the native peoples, Aztec and Mayan alike. And Survey of Satan is so named because it was written by a monk who was cataloging the heresies of the religions of the native peoples.
It's not okay.
I mean, they don't believe in Christ our Redeemer, which kind of makes them Satan. So,
That kind of makes it okay.
So, by the way, had Fritz been looking at, or so he was looking at the broken Ouroboros of Atu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you? So, when it comes to these books, you can peruse them, in which case you get the description, or you can pore through them and sort of really study them, in which case, fun things can happen.
He was just lightly skimming the broken Ouroboros as well as several of the other books. The Into the Yucatan he read very seriously and has done a first skimming read through of the Survey of Satan, but hasn't had time to do a more full perusal.
Okay.
If you can figure out where exactly Chichen Zozul is, perhaps we can get there without a guide.
Yeah. So you get Fritz, you get one dedicated pool point, which means you can basically only spend it for this purpose in anthropology or archaeology for the Zuzul people.
Okay. Is there some place where I can make that note on our sheet?
Yeah.
There's like a notes area, I think, where you could do it.
You probably just add another row.
Let's see. Let's
Like
do.
a specialized version.
Since I'm an archaeologist, let's do an archaeology. And since it can be used, can it only be used once? What's the deal with the?
I mean, it would
dedicated
refresh when your regular points refresh.
Okay. Yeah. Then why don't we add another row there?
It's like a special knowledge, like Zozul or something like that.
Yeah, basically.
Got it. Got it. Very good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else want to do anything? Harvey, you can read too if you like.
No, I read the diary. Harvey is mostly worried about maintaining his rat experiments.
Okay.
He's sectioned
And
off
what
the
do you-
rats with different
are you
like
feeding them
levels of
nectar?
barriers and feeding them nectar to see how they respond. Like one will have like, excuse me, Twizzler down the left.
My God,
Killed
Someone
by
get that man a
Twizzler.
doctor.
Tragic.
killed by Twizzlers. What a way to go!
It's the nectar. It's gotten to him.
All right.
I'm fine.
Damon's kind of jealous of the rats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
So, you note that there is a difference in the behavior between the Los Angeles nectar and the Mexico City nectar.
Oh my god, we need a human subject.
So the Los Angeles nectar, the rats just seem to become very lethargic and want to breed, and the Mexico City nectar, the rats also do that, but they also every once in a while you'll come back into the room, and you'll see them like on all of their like up on the side of the cage, like kind of squeaking along and like kind of like almost like a song.
Oh,
That's weird.
okay. I'll look at the Mexico City nectar under the microscope. Does it have the same properties as the LA nectar?
Yeah, it's very similar. It is slightly different though. You can see
And-
just
and-
from the images, you can see it's got a slightly different coloration. Yeah, they're slightly smaller but more numerous. The cells.
Okay. Do I think it's like more pure or more potent?
No,
Okay.
it's just different as far as you can tell.
It's created by a different nasty mouth tongue thing.
Alright, so-
on people's backs and stuff.
So we can go back to Damon and Gus if you want.
Well, so I come back to where everybody else is, and I kind of pull Kitty aside, and I was like, "Listen, we might need an in with this De La." Put his name down somewhere.
De La Vega.
He's the guy who owns the land that we want to go
Yes.
on.
Yes. So I was like, he owns the location where the Chichen Zozul is. Zozul, whatever.
And
I was like, you
apparently,
might need some coke, sir.
yeah, apparently Sancho Dominguez had a hell of a time. According to this letter, anyways.
Getting allowed on there.
Yeah. Can we
Say,
I wonder if we can find a map of his lands. I mean, I'd rather not have to hire a guide since it's just more people getting involved. But we do somehow have to figure out where the dig site is.
Maybe Santiago knows this land.
De La Vega, you mean?
no, Alcatraz.
Wait,
Oh.
so Santiago's just with you in the bar, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I asked him to take me out, find
Okay.
find me a great place to have a drink. We're sitting and talking.
Okay. He's telling you all about Trotsky.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, he's converting me. He's converting me.
Trotsky did nothing wrong.
I mean,
that's, I mean, clearly true.
Okay.
Well,
so
so-
anyway, yeah. What
No,
were
go
you
ahead.
saying, Gus?
Well, De La Vega knows or owns the land. Dominguez dealt with him. He might know where they are. So it's possible that either him or the guides can get us some actual coordinates on Chichen Zozel.
But if this man won't let us on his land, mightn't we just slip on there anyway?
Well, that's certainly a possibility. Maybe that'll have to be the backup.
I mean, it's worth it to try.
But Dominguez somehow got him to allow him on, so it's not an impossible task.
Well,
And as I said, the other part of it is we do need to find out the exact coordinates of the dig.
I'm
I don't know,
flattered
Kevin,
that
is
you
it-
come to me.
Is it possible for us to get like a map of like De La Vega's lands? Is that something that would be available? Go down to town hall, get a city map or something.
It's probably like a block away.
The guide would probably know too.
Yeah, so unfortunately, this area is not really mapped.
Well, we should ask one of those three guides, but also, yeah, Kitty says, like, I'm flattered, darling, that you'd think of me to get something out of this gentleman. I'd be happy to have a chat with him, but tell me just what is it our little group has that we might offer him in exchange for his passage?
Besides your
Besides my
abundant charms.
innumerable charms.
Um,
Seems like a man who had to be swayed by Sancho Dominguez was. Perhaps there might be something we'll need to share with him. Do we know
Yeah.
anything about De La Vega besides that he owns this land? Like, is he somehow involved in this stuff?
I mean, you got skills, don't you?
No, I'm asking them, not you.
Oh, okay.
I'm asking them if we have learned anything that I didn't
I think
think
all
of,
we
or,
know
like,
about
that
De La
came up
Vega
last time.
is what we can divine from Dominguez's letter, which isn't much other than he could be difficult to deal with, and that he owns the land, or at least they had to cross it. Though the
Right, but-
supply shop gave up that De La Vega in fact owns the land that Chichen Zozel is based on or is located in. So I imagine he
All
might
right.
own quite a bit.
Well, Kitty's gonna. And she says, you know, like, oh, Kim, did you just cut out again?
Yes.
All right, we'll
Sorry.
pause until we.
Yeah, we'll pause for a sec.
I think we're back up. We're good.
We're good.
Sorry.
Do we know where to
So just-
rewind to?
Yeah, just give a sec and then start.
I guess what whenever I ended my sentence, essentially, is when it cut out. So anything you said after that.
Okay, so Kitty's gonna approach the bartender. Well, she walks up to the bar and she beckons the guy over and you know, just like acting a little bit drunk.
Okay.
She says, tell me, handsome, what's a gal got to do to get another drink around here?
He sort of smiles at you and he says, well, just ask and then beg.
Not worth.
Guys, I'm actually drunk, and I return to them, and I'm like, all right, I found out how to get another drink. That's what we needed, right? All right, I say, bartender, that's so witty of you. Just so happens that my whiskey glass here is dry. If you'd be a dear and pour me another, and I
He says,
slide the glass over.
you can't drink whiskey in Mexico. How about this tequila?
Tequila? What? All right, darling. Sorry, Fritz.
All right,
It seemed like it would be something that I'd never heard of before. I was
Rip me,
confused.
rip me, I'm dead. It's over. It's done. Bury me.
Okay, well, he pours you some of this mysterious liquid.
All right, I like sniff it and then like down a shot, and
Okay.
and I say, oh bartender, you certainly know how to pour the right drink for a lady. I say, I keep them coming, bartender, but tell me a little about yourself. My friends over there, and I like gesture to those guys over there. They're awful bores. I mean, all they talk about is these expeditions and going out into the jungle, and they're constantly asking everybody around about this De La Vega character, and I'm just tired of it. I wish they'd just get their answers so we could move on.
Well, okay. So, do you
I'm
want him to
trying
tell you
to
about
You
something
don't want to
else?
hear about it, or
What?
you don't want
to
him to talk about it?
something else
Then?
besides De La Vega? That's what you're interested in?
No, I'm just saying that's all there.
He says, Mr. De La Vega is a very important man around here. Not to bore you, but
Yeah, I have oral history. If he wants to bore
Okay.
me with some nice stories about
okay.
De La
Yeah.
Vega in the area. I say, honey, the sound of your voice couldn't possibly bore me.
He says, De La Vega is a very important man around here. He inherited a fortune from his father, a Henneken farmer, but his mother was from Spain originally, or at least her ancestors were conquistadors, I think.
Conquistadors, my word. And I like push the glass over for another drink.
He says, yes, he's very very wealthy. I don't think he has
There.
much to spend his time on. He sort of wields power in the city, but what he's done to deserve it, I don't know.
Kitty says, are you saying that man inherited gold?
No, a Henneken farm.
Gold,
Yeah, but you said-
crazy.
No,
You
it's
said his
different than
mother's-
gold.
His mother's ancestors were conquistadors. Just asking.
I don't know. I
He
suppose it's
inherited the
possible.
spoils of invasion.
Well,
Aztec gold.
I say,
it's possible. I
Racist.
suppose.
I say, well, my knowledgeable fellow, my friends over there, they're incredibly keen on visiting some of the ruins on Mr. De La Vega's lands. Tell me, do you know which of the guides might be able to secure us a visit on there? I mean, one of them must know Mr. De La Vega and take folks out there from time to time. I'm sure even if Mr. De La Vega has to be compensated in some way.
He says, well, maybe you should go see Mr. De La Vega yourself. He's quite handsome, although it looks like perhaps you already have your fill of handsome men.
I look back and I say, no, that's all right. I could do with another. I say,
My God.
Can you tell me? Can you tell me what the best way might be about making an appointment with Senor De La Vega?
Well, I expect you might phone his house, speak to one of his men, or show up there in person. I don't know. I've never spoken to him.
I see. Does he? I mean, is there like a phone book, kind of? Like,
Yeah,
how would
yeah,
we
yeah.
find his number? Oh, okay. I just
do you have
ask
with
like
De La
if I
Vega?
can see his phone book to look up De La Vega. There's like
Oh, at the
10,000
bar?
of them. Yeah, there's like 10,000 of them in the phone book, but I get the
imagine
one-
at this point you just like pick up the
Aggressive.
phone and go like, De La Vega, please, and the
yeah.
line goes like,
The one that
it
lives on the
depends
giant
what
estate.
area- Yeah, it
Mother,
depends on what-
conquistadors, father, Henneken farmer.
Okay. Well, either way, you can get connected with De La
La
Vega's
Estate.
his house.
All right, I before I do that, by the way, I pay the bartender for the drinks and tip him generously.
Great.
And I say, thanks for your help, kind sir. I get connected to the estate, and I say, hello. This is Kitty Kennedy. I'm in town from the United States, and I would so absolutely love to speak to Mr. De La Vega or one of his representatives, please.
This is, and what are you calling about?
I said, well, I was actually hoping to visit Mr. De La Vega's estate. I've heard such wonderful things about his lands, and I was told not to miss them when I came to Merida.
He says, well, I'm afraid the estate is a private residence.
Oh yes, of course. I wouldn't dare disturb Mr. De La Vega in his home, but his lands. I hear there's some quite amazing archaeological treasures around there, and that from time to time he permits folks to venture on, and I was hoping that we could make an arrangement.
He says, very well, one moment, please. After a few minutes, he comes back and he says, Mr. De La Vega says he will consider your request if you will meet him for dinner.
I say, of course. Would Mr. De La Vega prefer to meet me alone, or shall I bring my associates?
Me and 7 men.
No, like this one guy.
Should I bring my
He
boyfriend?
says, bring your associates, of course.
I say, well, thank you, sir. What is Mr. De La Vega's preferred meeting time and location?
Well, it's afternoon at noon now. He says, well, come by around 6 tomorrow for dinner.
Surely
thank you.
Mr. De La Vega has heard of polyandry before.
All right.
I say thank you. We shall be there promptly at 6. Thank you very much. Hang up.
Okay.
All right, and I return to the folks and tell them, I don't remember how many of you are here. I guess Gus and Damon, maybe. I tell you, and Santiago, of course.
He says we should share everything we find.
God
What?
damn communists!
Oh,
Santiago.
I get it. Yes, I put my arm on his arm and I say, oh dear, there'll be time for proselytizing later, but I want you to know I've spoken with Mr. De La Vega's representative, and we have an appointment for dinner with him at his home tomorrow at 6.
This is great work, Kitty. Guess we're getting there. We're getting there.
I suggest we still have some kind of backup in place of something we can offer him for his generosity, seeing as how the man is quite wealthy. He certainly knows how to drive a bargain, I'd imagine, and there must be something we can offer him, perhaps on Miss Winston Rogers' behalf, that we should bring to the table tomorrow, literally.
Well, if he's as wealthy as you say he is, money might not be what he's after.
Certainly money, but perhaps what we find on his land, we should share the findings with him, since it is his domain, and I guess we'll discuss it as a group.
It could also be worthwhile asking about Sancho.
Mm-hmm.
Sancho asking what, the bartender?
No. Asking De La Vega about Sancho Dominguez.
Oh, okay, good, because I'm drunk.
Like
All
Kitty
hopped up on
or
tequila.
like Nick?
Can it be
No,
both?
Kitty.
Oh, okay.
Well, it could be both. but
He's role playing, guys. It's the wrong way.
LARPing.
method role playing.
Okay, so
Play.
what did Harvey and Fritz want to do? I guess you guys have had time to read.
Sure.
Tell us what you found, Fritz.
What?
Yeah,
I think they had shared what they had found in the books.
Yeah.
Harvey would just be waiting for the meeting with the guide.
Yeah. I guess I would go see whether there's any open public records about the history of the land that we're looking into. We're closer to that, so.
Okay, sure. So there is a sure. Yeah. Okay, so you You find. Okay, so this is what you do. You go to the town hall, and you find that the files that should contain information about the site known as Chichen Zolzol are empty.
Ah. I will politely ask for assistance from someone who is tending to the file room.
So the man comes to you and he looks around for a moment and he says, I don't know, senor. They should be here.
Do you know?
Would anyone know when the last time they were here was?
They don't appear to be. Those files are not supposed to leave the premises. So,
Does anyone have to sign in or out when they come here?
he says, yes, sir. But like I said, no one's allowed to take anything out of the room. So,
Would you mind if I looked at the logbook?
sure.
I'll look at the logbook and try to see whether there are any of the names that we are familiar with.
Like the De La Vega or Dominguez or anything.
Well, and especially the Sancho, the ones from the cult are particularly what I'm interested in. But yeah, if De La Vega, I mean, I don't know why he would steal stuff about his own thing from the town hall in his own city, but
Get
Sure.
bored.
No, none of those names are on the list, and it goes back. I don't know, a few weeks. Or,
Well, I guess
2 months.
you know around when the expedition
Previous.
started.
sure. I'll kind of scribble down the names from around that time in
Okay.
case any of them become useful.
Sure.
And then I will head back to the domicile. I don't know where exactly we're housed.
Okay.
Did you want to go try to interview guides before we meet with De La Vega? Let's see where things get with De La Vega first.
I think we should see where things go with De La Vega first, because if he's not going to give us permission, we're going to need a different kind of guide.
That's probably
Yeah.
true.
Good point.
Okay. So you guys want to skip ahead to the meeting with De La Vega?
Yeah, I guess we
think
vacation
so.
for a day.
That would be best.
Yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else crazy that's happening.
I will read
Hometown
more
is
deeply
devoured.
into a survey of Satan while we're working on that.
Well, you're not coming?
We've got
In the
another
day.
day or something between then.
Yeah,
I
we
thought
have
we
it all
were.
day.
You're saying during that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So as you spend the rest of the night reading Survey of Satan. As you pour through it, you begin to feel like a presence in the room with you, and you like turn around, but there's nothing there. But you feel unnerved. You feel like you're not quite as alone as you were before. You should take a -1 on the next 3 rolls for stability.
Okay.
And not yet, but when we start dealing with more Zolzol things, that will come into play. So the next
Okay.
three stability rolls, like, there will come a point where Zolzol stuff is around. So when that happens, the next 3 stability rolls, you're going to take
Things are looking up, folks. Or down, depending on.
right, or what depends how you feel about Zolzol. Okay, so the next afternoon. Well, does anybody else want to do anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I
Alright,
mean,
so
we're all
the next
excited
day-
to find out what's going to happen with what's his face.
You
Dinner with De La Vega.
you arrive at De La Vega's estate. It's a very nice, modern building. Very clean. You're met at the door by a manservant who ushers you inside. He says, "Mr. De La Vega will be with you in a bit. He's attending to business now, but you are free to explore the garden." And he opens the door to let you inside. You all right, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm getting a migraine. It's been happening for like the past 15 minutes, so I'm trying to ice it down and numb it, but it's kind of bothering me.
Okay.
How much longer do you
Um,
think we have?
So another 20 minutes or less.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so he shows you into the garden and just sort of steps away for a moment.
As we walk through the house, do we by any chance see like a study or?
Yeah. There's a couple of rooms around branching off the garden. There's a study for sure. Yeah.
I guess I like kind of nudge Damon. I'm like, perhaps it's worth it to take a look. There might be a map of the property.
All right, I want to use a point in like shadowing or stealth, whatever.
You can use stealth for sure.
Wait, hold on.
Damon,
I
is your nectar on you?
Yeah.
Always.
It's like under my shirt though, so you know. Sorry, Kev. I'm checking if I have stealth, which
You're a PI. I hope you have a little bit.
I have a little bit. You're right. All right, yeah. I'll use a point of stealth to like sneak into the library or into the whatever study, and seeing if I can find like anything about his lands where like the Chichen's will be.
Just
Okay,
as a note, stealth is a general skill, so you have to roll. You don't just use a point.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
that's right.
So I'm just like while Damon does this, I'm gonna kind of like stand around outside the door of the study and try to intercept anybody who might like walk in, at least from the garden side.
Assisting with his stealth.
Okay. Sure.
Click and drag to roll the dice. Did I do
You
it?
followed instructions. Ooh.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so you
plus
walk
one,
into the
so-
you walk into the study. You see that there's a desk there. It's a large, well-appointed study. There's several bookshelves. You also note that prominently displayed between the bookshelves behind the desk is a display case containing a large ornate sword and a helmet.
Conquistadors.
Yeah. I like take a closer look at the.
Okay. You notice that there's a plaque. The helmet is labeled Juan de Grivala, Grigalva, and the sword has a plaque that says the sword of Francisco de Belcazar.
Do any of these names ring a bell?
Yeah,
Not for
Francisco
you,
de
probably.
Balcazar.
Yeah,
Oh, true.
it's something.
Not to you, I guess,
Okay.
but maybe
Um,
somebody else.
Yeah, I like jot them down.
Okay.
And I look for any of what I originally went in for, like a map of the estate or some sort of location where the Chichen Zozo would be.
So you don't see any maps. You can see there's some papers on the table. There's some books. There's an armchair, the book next to it, but nothing. No maps or anything.
Do you have library use, Alex?
I don't think that's one of my specialties, unfortunately. I'll check. Where the heck is my character sheet keeps that?
You can pop it out and like leave it as its own window.
Oh, that's true.
That's what I do.
No, I do not have any library use.
What about like evidence collection? Sometimes you can
Is-
go kind of general.
That, Kevin,
What?
that's a
Evidence
little bit of
collection?
a stretch. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. How about...
How about photography? He has points in photography, so he could take pictures of all the things that he's looking at.
I take 2 hours to set up the camera.
Dinner's over.
Gus gets really tired of
Everybody
like,
else
covering
leaves.
for you.
Okay.
I guess you're a little.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like
Well.
take a quick look around, and if there's nothing of the sort, I just like write down the names and like head back out, and like I
Okay.
give Gus like a nothing shrug.
Okay.
All right.
Gus is disappointed in you.
Oh, my worst fears.
You're off the.
So,
off the
Fritz,
super
while
films.
you're standing around, you see that there is another display case off the garden with a piece of what looks like rock in it, and it's clearly got some carvings on it. They appear to be Mayan.
I'll go over and try to read what I can read.
Okay. Do you? Okay, so
I can
you
spend. Let's see.
spend-
I have. What do I have? I have archaeology, architecture, art history, languages.
Okay, so you can use your Zolzol point if you want.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay, so most of it you can't make out, but you do see sort of a faded figure, and below it it says he who is both a bird and a toad.
He was both a bird and a toad. Okay, got it. So that refers to Goxamel, I believe. Where are you? Bird and a toad. Ah, yes, Goxamel. That's how the Mayans described Goxamel, was he was bird and toad. Okay, very good to know.
Okay. So a moment later, De La Vega sweeps into the room. He's dressed in a blue suit with a light blue undershirt and no tie. He looks dashing, with a thin mustache, a rose on his lapel there, and he says, "Oh, friends! I see you've arrived. Well, how rude of me to keep you waiting. Shall we dine?" Oh, excuse me. I must introduce myself. My name is Francisco de la Vega, and you are. And he.
I say, Mr. De La
Hold it a hand,
Vega,
too,
I
please.
am Kitty Kennedy, and I was the one who spoke to your man about arranging this meeting. Thank you ever so much for meeting with us.
He says, "The Kitty Kennedy? Could it be in my garden?" Oh,
Kitty
it's not so.
blushes. A deep chartreuse.
Classic. Kitty.
Classic Kitty.
Kitty gets sick all over the floor.
She says, I apologize. One of our party has already fallen ill in your home, and it seems that I am succumbing as well. Kitty blushes and she says, "Why, Mr. De La Vega, I'm honored that you've heard of me all the way down here. But your home is so lovely. Thank you so much. And allow me to introduce my dinner companion. This is Santiago Alcatruz from Mexico City, a man of great repute in his town. And these are my adventurous companions. I like usher to each of them to, come on up."
He says, you seem travelers of the world, are you not? You must have some wonderful stories, no?"
You could certainly say that, Mr. De La Vega.
Not any that you really want to hear, but
I stretch out my hand. I say, Gus Allen.
He
pleasure to
shakes
meet
it
you.
firmly, and he says, "Oh, but I do want to hear. Tell me, where have you been? What have you done?"
Well, I can tell you that the police department in Los Angeles is quite brutal.
I tell him, over the course of dinner or whatever, I tell him some of the stories about, catching petty criminals.
Okay, yeah, he
in Boston.
seems like fascinated by your stories. He pays careful attention. He asks questions.
I tell him about meeting Olivia, whatever her name is, the famous
Olivia
actress.
Clarendon.
Yes.
My God. What a
What an
vision
inspiration
she is.
she was to me.
Olivia Clarendon. Now that would be truly an honor. Well, what did she say? to you?
As opposed to Kitty Kennedy.
Not truly an honor.
I say, well, Miss Clarendon had many things to say about how to go from my humble pedigree of acting to the vaunted stages that she's been on, and I took all. Damn it, Fritz!
he's just
I mean,
he's just
She did
clarifying.
have a lot of advice about how to do that. I say I took it all to heart, and I plan on combining that with these worldly adventures we're having, and using it to launch my career to the stars.
He says, "Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that sounds amazing, but I don't see how it could bring you to Merida. Unfortunately, while Merida has many things,
Sounds more like Mierda.
the stage is not one of its
I say, but before one enters the stage, Mr. De La Vega, one must have a background. One must have a subject, something to draw on, and while there's not much stage in Merida, your lands apparently offer a vast amount of adventure, experience, and intrigue.
My lands. I see. Well, what is it that you hope to find on my lands?
Cultists.
You know,
What did you
the
say?
usual.
No,
say,
no.
Oh God! All right, session over.
Cultists.
Sorry, I
Maybe
thought we were
some
trying to-
mouths with tongues. You know.
So I
Regular.
say, well, Mr. De La Vega, our Dr. Dreckner here says there are some fascinating ruins that should be located somewhere in this area that are truly a sight to behold.
Say, yes. You see, I've become somewhat enthralled with the Xoxul people, and it seems that you have one of the most notable sites for these people right in your backyard.
So as you say the word Zotzel, you one of his eyebrows like raises like a quarter of a centimeter, but he controls it. He says, "Yes, well, I'm afraid it's just a few crumbled walls and an old well, really. Not as interesting as you were hoping, I'm sure."
Well, you must not be very familiar with archaeology. Most of our time is spent looking at a single rock somewhere and trying to extrapolate from that what might have been a site 2,000 years ago. So, if we had a crumbling wall, it would truly be one of the more exciting things that I've seen in the past 3 decades.
He says, "Well, if that's what you wish, then you need only ask. I won't dissuade you, but I will tell you it's quite disappointing."
Well, I was hoping that in addition to perhaps letting us take a look, you might tell us about some of your own interests in the time period of the conquistadors. It seems that you have a number of artifacts from that period.
Yes, well, I'm descended from a conquistador myself. You see, my mother was the granddaughter. Granddaughter? I think that's too little.
Yeah, way too little.
Way too little.
Way too little.
Of a man who
Unless something weird's
traveled
going
with who traveled with Cortez himself, Francisco de Alcazar.
You are descended from V. de Balcazar.
Is
I mean,
that-
what is that? That's like 15 generations, maybe?
Yeah, it's a
De
lot.
Balcazar is 315 years or so.
Kevin,
Oh,
are
even
these the
more than I
names
thought.
that are-
Okay, so like 30 generations?
Are
You
these the
figure
names
a
that were
generation
on
is
the
30
item?
years.
30 years, right? Yeah, so 30
Yeah.
generations.
Were these the names that were on the items, Kev?
More like 10, but yeah.
What's that?
No. Were these the names that were on the items?
Yeah,
Well,
sorry, I did the math opposite. You're right.
A Diary of Francisco de Balcazar is in the Clues Yucatan folder on Roll20.
Oh. Wait. It's not for me. I was looking, because I thought we had something with it. It's not there for me.
You don't have the Diary of Francisco de Balcazar?
You said Clues Yucatan?
Yeah.
No, just under Yucatan.
Well, clues is the big headache.
Yeah,
No,
and then
okay, I see what you're
Eucatan-
saying. Yes, no, I do. I get it.
Okay. Yeah.
Della
So-
Belalcazar.
I had the
This is,
opportunity. I had the opportunity to read the diary of your ancestor that was recently discovered and published by Austin Coates at the University of Texas. I don't suppose your family has passed down any tradition about what might have happened to Del Balcazar?
No. No, that's they have not. My family passed through Cuba. They lived there for a time, and then they came here, where my mother married my father, who was quite wealthy. She was a woman of significant means herself, but that's as far back as I know the story directly. Tell me.
Well, it seems that after being inspired by Cortez's own campaigns, he became enthralled with the notion of that cities that you have out there in the jungle, Chichen Xochitl, and set out to find it. And this was before it had been found. And he and all of his men left in 1523 and disappeared, never to be seen again. Of course, the city itself was found, or we think it was found later, maybe, 200 years later, something of that magnitude. But, of course, no traces remained of Belalcazar and his men.
This is fascinating. Would you lend me this diary? I would love to peruse it.
Surely, that would not be a problem.
He's letting us peruse his land.
I have the contents fairly well learned by now, and I believe that Dr. Cohen has looked at it as well, so I see no problem with your taking it for now. I don't suppose you know what happened to the files on Chichen Xochitl at the city town hall. They all seem to have disappeared.
Well, I have no idea. I haven't been to town hall in many years. You see, that land, like I said, belonged to my father, and his father. So, I have not had to file many records on it.
No, I thought perhaps that you would be more interested in the fact that there was larceny occurring with respect to it in your own city.
Well, it's not my job to keep the records, though it is interesting. Now, tell me, what brings you all here to look at these pathetic ruins on my land? Americans, a film star. You said you've come seeking experience, and you are an archaeologist by trade, Mr.
Yes. I spent many years digging on Cyprus, actually.
Very interesting. Well, there are many more interesting ruins to the west. If I could interest you in those, I'm afraid I fear you may not find much in Chichen Itzá. But I have other ruins on my land which are.
Well,
more
we're also
interesting.
looking for an
Historically
old
rich.
acquaintance of ours.
An acquaintance.
Yes.
Who would that be?
Sancho Dominguez?
Dominguez.
Dun.
An amusing man.
You've spoken with him recently.
Yes, he was here not 2 weeks ago. How do you know him?
He was referred to me by a man that we ran into when we were traveling through Mexico. Jonathan Brooks?
Ah, I see.
Can't just say Jonathan Brooks, my God.
Dropping
Sorry, we killed
bombs,
him.
Yeah, dropping truth bombs.
Well, no, there's some veiled truth.
Cultists?
All right.
Cultist to the
I think you're going to need to. What skill are you using to look?
pocket sand.
Because we have to stop right now. That's...
I'm gonna use reassurance. I'll be like, you see, we've kind of not really known them for that long, but he helped us get out of some trouble in Mexico. You know how the police are down there.
He says, I see. By the way, I will give you an opportunity to spend points here, if you wish.
Him
Can you use
or
a point of reassurance to?
You can use reassurance.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. He says, "I see. So you were friends of Dominguez, or acquaintances?
No,
or
we were
partners?
recommended to find him. That he would be the best one to show us about these ruins. Jonathan said that perhaps we can take his place, as he would not be able to make it for this expedition, and we jumped on the opportunity.
Well, he's already been here and left, I'm afraid, and his expedition is long overdue. I'm afraid that your friends have very likely been killed by bandits already."
So, if you may, for a moment, you're saying that Sancho set out for Chichen Xochitl and has not returned.
Yes.
And after the story I just told you, that doesn't strike you as at all coincidental.
Out of character, I'm not. What do you mean?
Like, we just had a long story about a big expedition setting out for Chichen Xochitl.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
no one ever showing up again. And he's like, oh, and there's this expedition that just set out for Chichen Xochitl, and guess what? None of them have returned. I'm sure it's just bandits.
and he finds the person that disappeared and he has no trace of amusing. And that's about all he has to say about it.
Well, I mean,
He says, the jungle swallows people more often than you might think. Unfortunately.
so you have a lot of problems with bandits on your land?
He says,
Bandits.
yes, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the history of the area, but since the Civil War, there have been bandits in the jungle, basically for some time. The army comes down every once in a while to try to stamp them out, but they are indigenous. They know the land better than the Frederitos.
This doesn't
Rather
bother you?
They've been there all my life. What does a deer in the forest bother you, Mr. Allen?
If it kills people,
Well, I guess it doesn't, but I would say there's some difference if it was a bandit in the forest. So, but if it is the way things are, then I'll take your word for it, Mr. De La Vega.
There's little I can do.
I guess
If
you're
the army
fortunate
can't
enough
stamp them
that
out, I'm
they.
not sure what you expect me to.
Well, I guess you're fortunate enough that they don't come and bother you here at your home.
No, they stay in the jungle.
Well, it's
Well, I guess
unfortunate
if
to
we
hear
want-
what might have happened to Mr. Dominguez and his associates. Would
Does
be
make
tragic.
it
What
seem
about-
all the more important to perhaps see whether we can make our way there.
What
if-
about all their notes and findings? That's
bloodied
just-
and on the ground of the jungle.
Surely, maybe we can go retrieve it.
He says, I advise against it.
How big was the expedition? I mean, there's 7 of us.
Well, I believe there were 10 from Mexico City. They hired some number of porters. I believe about another 10, and the guide would make 11, I think.
And no one came back. Not a soul.
Well, we
Like I
don't-
said, unfortunately, it
the
happens
souls.
more often than you'd think.
Say, is there no safe way for us to get to the ruins, Senor? I mean, we are so determined, but it sounds like you're a bit casually implying that we haven't much chance of coming back alive.
Well, I advise strongly against it, but if you will not be dissuaded, there are several guides in town.
Any whom you would recommend?
Oh, well, of course. Of course.
Sancho Dominguez.
Personally, I would recommend Pablo Garza myself. He's not the most experienced, but he's a wise man.
Not Rick Luke?
Rick Luke, no. An idiot, a cowboy. He doesn't know the jungle as well as he thinks.
And the other guy whose name I didn't get? That's not Rick Luke or Pablo Garza?
Guillermo Castillo, well,
Yeah.
he is experienced, but he's a bit jaded, I might say, and if I'm being frank, a bit too expensive.
That's
Herr de la Vega, I don't suppose you have any contact with the bandidos, with the natives?
No, indeed I don't.
I see. And is there anyone in town who might?
Well, each of the guides we've just mentioned can speak Mayan. Exposito was the other guide, but he's left and hasn't returned with the Minguez.
Of course.
There are
What
a
were
few
your
here
thoughts
and
about
there,
him?
but... Sorry?
What were your thoughts about him? Is he better than the three that were left behind?
By far. A good man. He knows his land's better than anyone in Merida. I do hope he's all right, but with the timing, it does not look good.
Is he of Mayan descent by any chance?
Esposito?
Yes.
He is.
I see. And the other guides, how many of them are of Mayan descent?
Guillermo Castillo is, but I believe Pablo Garza is Cuban. And Rick Luke, you can imagine, is not Hispanic.
I see. Very good. Well, thank you.
And you would not, you'd have no problem with us having a guide take us out onto your land to seek the ruin, Mr. De La Vega?
If Kitty Kennedy wishes it, who am I to say no?
True words were never spoken.
Kitty Kennedy's like, nah.
No,
I no longer wish it.
absolutely not. I'm excited.
Okay,
Very well.
Let's go get a guide.
If this pleasant dinner is coming to an end, I do have one last question for you, Herr de la Vega.
Is there dessert?
That stone in the corner over there, whence comes
Regard-
it?
It comes from ruins in the area. I'm afraid it is slated to go to the Anthropology Museum. However, I'm holding on to it for a bit.
And when you say ruins in the area, can you be more precise with the provenance?
I am not sure, actually. I could check up on it.
If you could do that, it would be ever so helpful.
Of course.
Have you found anyone who could tell you a little bit about what it says?
Oh no, I'm afraid it's been in my family for some time. I hardly paid any mind. Looks nice on the wall, though.
It does that. Well, we thank you very much for your time.
Of course. Are you sure I can't offer you some more food? Dessert, perhaps?
Dessert would be lovely.
You
All right.
read my mind, Senor de la Vega.
All right. So, I mean, I don't unless you guys have any other questions.
How
that's
was
fine.
the dessert?
Yeah,
finish
what
up
is the
my-
dessert? Trace leches. Please tell me we got Trace leches.
I only have 2 milks here.
Yeah,
No,
I was just gonna say that.
Cultists! Cultists!
We've found them, Jacques!
So as the evening comes to an end, he bids you all good night. He walks you out to the door. Kitty, as you step at the door, he says, Miss Kennedy, I mean no offense, but I sincerely hope that no one comes looking for your expedition in the future. I hope to see you again.
He means he hopes we come back.
I just didn't understand why that would be offensive, but
He
alright.
says that you're gonna die.
I said, Senor de la Vega, no one hopes more than I that we all return safe and sound, but I would certainly be honored if we could be in your company again. Thank you so much for your hospitality.
Of course, of course.
Man, I hope this guy's not the bad guy, because I kind of like him.
Well, aren't you usually supposed to like the bad guy for a while?
I mean, no.
Just wait until
All
it
right.
pops up later with 3 mouths and 19 eyes.
It's true.
I mean,
I'm
as
still
long
like,
as they're all odd numbers, I'm cool with it.
All
All
right.
right, well, I think we leave, and on the way home, talk about how good dinner was, and
especially the dos leches.
Oh!
Santiago seems a
Abomination.
little sullen.
yeah, I was just gonna ask what was up with Santiago. I was just gonna ask. He was pretty quiet during dinner. What?
Yeah, he was pretty quiet.
You were
Does he
like
not
totally
like the dos
hitting at a
leches?
dude. You're like hitting on a dude. You brought him
I
all the
didn't
way
hit on
here.
anybody. I don't know what you're talking
he's
about.
all about sharing, though.
It's the dosages.
That's true. And we were talking about a guy who's Cuban. They're gonna get along so well.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, he seems a little distant.
All right. Well, I make sure to hold his hand in the cab on the way home.
Not
Alright.
his hand.
No, it's his hand.
All right, well, that cheers him up a little bit.
Great.
Okay. Do you guys want to do anything else before you? I mean, if you want to go interview guides, we can do that probably next time. But anything else?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can call it.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there.
Sounds good.
So from last time, I guess maybe I've forgotten to mention, but you guys should have. So the way I do it is I'll give you 4. I'll call them experience points because whatever, it doesn't matter. You can spend 1 experience point to get a general skill, or you can spend 2 experience points to get an investigative skill, and you have 4, so you can do whatever you want with them. That's it.
All right.
Alright.
I already
So you
spent
can
mine.
All right.
increase your.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever spent any of them.
Yeah,
I
you should
never
have-
spent any.
You should have 2 from Georgia, 4 from LA, and 4 from Mexico City.
I haven't spent them, but I wouldn't even bother calculating it out to make sure that I have or haven't spent them. I'll just spend these 4 at some point.
Okay.
Probably. Anyway, good job.
All right.
Thanks for reintroducing
Good game.
Eternal Lives.
Thanks for playing, guys.
Yeah.
Good session. Good session.
Let's hear it.
Okay, well, if you're watching this on YouTube, come check out our Twitch. If you're watching this on Twitch, come check out our YouTube. Subscribe. If you have any friends you think that would enjoy this show for I have no idea what reason, then then tell them about it. And we'll see everybody next week at 7:30 Eastern. This was Live from Beyond. Have a good night, everybody.